This event has not disappointed. We have a full new group of faces in the quarterfinals from this season, and I cannot wait.
Round 4, and well, we nearly managed to get through round 5. That low cloud cover yesterday just robbing us of the last sunlight, and that is why we'll pick up on the final heat of round 5 here this morning. So welcome to the finals day here from Rio de Janeiro. 2/13 though is part of his 2016 campaign thus far. And we'll go straight to action here because Michel will find a little corner on the left-hander. It is on the low tide mark here. We saw him doing this in his round 4 efforts yesterday on a slightly higher tide using the lefts as well. So he'll get out the gates for an early one.
Yesterday and into last night and even this morning it's still dumping, so the water is raw, and it's going to be one of those days where you need to be on your toes. We had talked about that yesterday. Same thing, you know, it's reaction time's got to be quick.
Michel Bourez got a second to Nat Young, got in ahead of Alex Ribeiro, and now we'll pick up on Adam Melling. Both surfers very adept in these, as you said, Pete, perfect description, raw conditions here, and both of these surfers love the rail work, and they're going to need to take the rail to the raw wave face.
Well, one of these guys, you know, being that this is the last heat of round 5, you know, if they were to make the final, they're going to have to surf an extra heat over their competitors. So it could be a big day for one of these athletes.
Yeah, that's a good call, Pete. 4 heats could possibly, right?
Yep. And as you talked to anybody who surfed yesterday and got into 3 heats, Jack Freestone last night, had a chat with him, and he was saying, yeah, it was hard work as we watch again in live action.
Here we go. Bourez now on that same section of the bank, just trying to repeat a score and build a second number here. Broken conditions, lots of weather beating down on the coast here in Rio de Janeiro overnight, and the low tide conditions, but even worse weather moving in, so it's green lights for go as we move towards crowning a champion here on this finals day,
in which we'd like to see. We already got a good wave being ridden by Michel Bourez right at the bottom end of that scale, 6.0, so he's got the early lead.
And the other thing he has now is priority. We'll see how that comes to play. We saw it several times during round 3 yesterday.
I mean, you look at trying to script stuff, you know, sometimes those are things that, you know, Kelly Slater was always really good at doing that.
Well, let's have a look at Melling here as he gets going on a right-hand attack. Found a peak quite far down the beach here, Pete, probably 100, 150 yards over to the right of the judging tower. Michel Bourez a little bit closer to the main infrastructure, so about 80 yards apart. Bourez focusing on the left-hand peak, but Melling picks up the right-hand offering here.
Yeah, and it's got a little bowl, glassy peak, gets the attack off the top, 2 in a row, kind of similar types of turns, and that's it. You know, again, he had to chase down that next section, so, you know, it would take away a little bit from the flow of that wave.
Meanwhile, at the break, let's have a look at the replay of Michel here.
Finding a little right. Not a lot of scoring potential, but then behind, you see Melling. Little cleaner face. Gets 3 moves off. Completes the ride, heads in. You saw the choice being made by Michel Bourez to paddle back out.
In the dojo. Of course, Michel Bourez can boast 2 championship tour wins over Adam Melling. As we see him now, the Tahitian, picking quite a broken wave. Section on comes, and well, he won't ride through that. And this heat is moving quickly, Pete. We're down to under 8 minutes. And Melling's taken the lead here because he's banked a 5.63. So we were waiting for that score to come in. It is now in. And Michel Bourez finds himself in second, looking for a very moderate score, 4.8, and it won't be achieved on this one, Pete.
Yeah, and that's those right-handers not giving as much opportunity as we would have seen yesterday. Yeah, no real change in equipment for John going up in this next heat. I don't think anyone's really made any adjustments in regards to that.
Melling will pick up on another right-hander here. Possible block, yes, looking for potential also. Now that priority gets served over to Michel Bourez with 4 minutes now to play.
Throughout, and then again, he's looking to the left.
Here it pops up, and Bourez on the backhand must improve a score now. And that left has fragmented.
And went into that frothy water too. That's always challenging to try and finish up a turn in the bubbles.
He'll be getting a little bit frustrated now, Pete, roaming the lineup here. That priority slips back to Adam Melling.
What they're kind of doing by sitting directly in the middle, and here we go.
Well, there we go. Melling will use the priority and access this right-hander. It really did get a lot of wonk and twist on it.
Well, sometimes what you can do is you can catch it in the rip and then get it into the clean
feed onto a clean face.
Yeah, and you know, so that's kind of what you see them doing. It's that you can see that's where the shallowest part of the ocean floor is. So you want to be in that zone, but it's tough when you're sitting there because you're constantly paddling directly towards shore in order to keep yourself in position.
Well, that priority now handed back to Michel Bourez. He's competing with the South Atlantic here, and he might be on a corner. Let's have a look. It's going to be a left-hand offering. Now it'll shape up. Big squared up turn. It's fast, it's crisp, well, and we immediately flick our eyes back to the requirements.
Well, and it was smart because he knew that if it was one pretty good dynamic turn, it could be enough. We'll see. It was a pretty nice backhand Rio. You see it again here, off the rip into some clean water, but it's going to shut down on him quickly and attacks the lip. Does it with speed. You know, it could be. We'll see.
All right, so smart play there, working with whatever tools he had in the toolbox, so to speak. And now that clock will shut the heat down.
Not enough.
Pete, not enough.
3.63. So Melling, he probably has no idea.
Well, he'll be listening, and well, he's on his way to the quarterfinal.